back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. Today we are talking about Boruto Chapter 59, which means it's that time of the month again. The cover page is of Kawaki looking like an Ikemen, as Ino puts it. And I'm starting to understand why everyone's simp for this boy.
Holy moly.
Boruto Chapter 59 centralizes on Kawaki's character, specifically his desire for power due to the empty-like state he feels without the karma, a feeling that Kawaki has had since childhood due to neglect, rejection, and being taken advantage of by those that surround him throughout his life. As we stated last month, Kawaki is trying to change, and in his attempt to reform his old ways, he has gained positive goals, which is to protect Naruto the Hokage and his new family, since he was the first person to understand him directly and nurtured him with love. Fundamentally, this is the way of shinobi, a concept called ninshu that Hagoromo propagated once he decided to teach the true meaning of chakra. Kawaki has never resonated with this feeling before until Naruto came along. Now, with this strong attachment, in Boruto Chapter 58, we witness Kawaki believing in any method to achieve his goals, contrasting Boruto's ninja way and the method that has been passed down for generations. However, as Kawaki puts it, there is not enough time for everyone to become powerful due to the nature of karma and their circumstances. Momoshiki's data is constantly being extracted by Boruto's karma seal, where he is already at 80% and code is way too overpowered for any of them to handle. Therefore, in Boruto Chapter 59, the story is elaborating on the fact that Amado is trying to take advantage of Kawaki's desire and love for Naruto.
What do you mean by that?
Well, stick around to the end of the video as I will explain exactly what I mean. We definitely thought of a crackpot theory that Amado could be the real villain all along.
Nani?
Boruto Chapter 59 begins with a flashback Kawaki experienced whilst being adopted by Isshiki Otsutsuki, or should I say Jigen. Code is jealous of Kawaki because he's special. I mean, who would it be? Just look at my man's genetics, bruh!
So true.
Code is strangling Kawaki and is angry with the fact that he was chosen for the karma seal rather than himself receiving a defective version called the white karma. He literally tells Kawaki that he would have killed him if he wasn't the chosen vessel. A similar statement Isshiki Otsutsuki said to Boruto when they had their bout in the time travel arc. Now obviously the storytelling is trying to sell us the idea that Code, even as a young boy, was ruthless and disregarded other humans as mere barriers to his worship of his god, Isshiki Otsutsuki. It's trying to make you believe that this is a boy worthy of killing Naruto or Sasuke, as the chapter later states that he would be capable of beating them 1 vs 1. Whether or not you respect Code enough to believe this concept and accept this fact that Boruto is representing, it's entirely up to you, fam.
Unacceptable.
Kawaki wakes up from this nightmare, where Amado inquires whether he's having the reoccurring dreams of Jigen's training again, but he responds, roasting Code, that it was involving his whiny, resentful nature. Bitch! Amado claims that Kawaki without the karma seal is still indeed Isshiki's vessel, and that will never change. This is because 80% of Isshiki's data was still extracted within Kawaki, the same as Boruto due to resonation, right? Therefore, making them both part alien.
Hey yo, what the
So Kawaki needs to accept his reality. He confirms once again that Isshiki's soul has departed and he will not be able to possess him, which again, I'm just gonna say this, it's disappointing since Isshiki, aka Jigen, was one of the reasons why the manga reached such a great success ideologically and had so much potential, expanding upon plot points that fixed the writing of Naruto. Goodbye Jigen, you might be gone, but you will forever be remembered by us. Thank you to those that bought our clothing. Shout out to all of you being displayed on screen right now. We have Jigen for sale as well as Naruto and Sasuke Journey clothing. Currently there is 15% off if you use the code Boruto, so check the link in the pinned comment. Amado goes on to say that the plan to implant Boruto's karma into Code is not a bad idea theoretically, but it lacks far too much practicality to be a realistic plan. There's too many unknown variables obstacles and uncertainties when it comes to what the karma is able to do. And let's not forget, even if they manage to successfully implant a karma into Code, he wouldn't take that sitting there lightly. As for the time it takes for him to turn into a perfect vessel for Boruto, he would use that time to kill Boruto and all the others so that he couldn't be possessed to begin with. Amado tries to provoke Kawaki by utilizing his weakness, his immense love and respect for Naruto. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, Kawaki is the fan favorite bitch, because he's pretty much representing the fandom's love for Naruto through his character. Kawaki questions whether or not Naruto can take down Code like he did with Delta. Although Amado is unsure, he suspects that without Kurama, Naruto would lose against Code in a one-on-one situation. A lot of you may be wondering how strong Naruto and Sasuke would be without Kurama and the Rinnegan.
I'm confused. I'm confused right now, G.
Well, lucky for you, we already answered the question. This is why it's so important to hit the notification bell for our channel, so you don't miss out on important uploads that keep you on the same page as the rest of the community. We covered it extensively, proving that Naruto and Sasuke are still the strongest ninjas after their nerfs. The link will be in the pinned comment. So again, make sure to hit the like button for the video and the notification bell so the algorithm helps you with that. Anyways, in Boruto chapter 59, we see balls deep prediction jutsu coming true once again. We as a community made an extensive theory that Amado will offer Kawaki power and the Karma Seal once again, since he knows deep down Kawaki seeks power to protect his newfound family and achieve his goals with Boruto. Amado uses my anime bullshit science degree and states that he can offer Kawaki a karma that's purely a weapon. Kawaki calls Amado a crazy bastard because out of everyone, he knows how much trauma Kawaki suffered because of the karma. However, he claims that Kawaki is the same as him, a rational person who wouldn't let emotions stop him from getting his goal. This might be true for Kawaki, but he's also a man of his word. The Kawaki we now know and love is vastly different since the time he got to spend with Naruto, learning the meaning of chakra, jutsu, and the bonds it can make. In Boruto chapter 58, he promised to his brother Boruto that if he lost in their bout, he will follow the ninja way and Boruto's methods of training. He indeed lost and had to promise. This leads us to think that Kawaki will be left with no choice in the future to take on Amado's deal through manipulation or witnessing a death that would trigger his old personality to return more prominently. At the moment, in Boruto chapter 59, Kawaki refuses to be implanted with another karma and he takes his leave. But before he does, Amado gives him a reminder that it's his choice. Whether or not he wants the power is up to him. Moving on to Boruto's hideout, we come to learn that Eida was observing Kawaki all this time. She views Kawaki as her prince and she would like to be with him, even going as far to say Kawaki shouldn't find out she is involved as she doesn't want him to hate her or have a bad impression.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Eida, using her clairvoyance powers, saw the interaction and is feeling sympathy. She sees Kawaki's despair of feeling weak and unable to protect Naruto. So Eida asks Code if he could spare the Hokage. Code rejects this request, informing her how he himself is a bigger simp for the beloved god Isshiki, where even after his death, Code still has faith and he wishes to carry out divine retribution for the death of his god. So obviously now, using logic, it completely makes us question why this boy is a stan and is worshipping someone who can die and is dependent on life itself, which constitutes the human vessel and the chakra fruit he desired. Code's god needs chakra to live, so why does he worship a being that couldn't fulfill his faith? Isshiki couldn't fulfill any promises or wishes that made Code become a follower in the first place. So his backstory must have the answer to these questions, and we look forward to that.
I'm confused.
Now we all know Kawaki was the one to give Isshiki the final goodbye, so Eida reminds Code that he promised not to touch him. However, we know from the flashback nightmare earlier in chapter 59 where Code tells Kawaki he would kill him if he wasn't an Isshiki vessel, which in Code's perception he wouldn't be anymore since the soul has now gone of his god. He can still use Boruto as a seed for the god tree to fulfill his plan. Kawaki's value has diminished in front front of him, so he doesn't have to feel jealous anymore. We also believe Code is going along with this plan because of Eida's ability of making any man fall in love with her, which Code described as being so natural that it doesn't seem fake. This could be causing Code to go along with Eida's wishes out of respect for her, but states Naruto is someone who he can't let go and must kill with his own hands.
This is #1 bullshit.
We then get a back and forth on whether or not they should leave Boru's base to avoid any more hassle from the gods, which we don't understand why they are a problem in the first place. Why not just tell them Boru has died and Code is the new leader of Kara, with the facade of fulfilling their wishes of infinite Tsukiyomi that Boru schemed in the anime, therefore using these forces to Code's advantage. I mean, isn't that a good big brain idea to have, since we know for a fact Code has the intel from the anime on Boru's hideout and his people? Like, what?
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Anyways, Eida once again shows us that she knows everything that is going on in Konoha, along with their plan to fight Code, informing him that both the Hokage and Kawaki are being guarded around the clock, with the 5 great villages now being involved in the hunt for him. She then mentions that they will only act when the opportunity presents itself, which she will be able to see with her clairvoyant Senrigan eye. Senrigan? How do I pronounce this shit? Senrigan? Alright, I tried my best, guys. Senrigan literally means clairvoyance, but the way Eida presented it gives us the impression that this is also a dojutsu, as Senrigan also means eyes that can see things thousands of miles away. However, from a first glance, this ability might be beyond the idea of a dojutsu. We have to remember that Eida is a cyborg, and her knowledge of the past and present might be technological in nature. This is where we come to another Senrigan we have in our own world, which is the name of a Comms 1 satellite. Other than that, we don't have much to go on. Like, how is Amado making cyborgs with these crazy abilities? In the anime, we saw Denki and the team launch their first basic satellite, which could only communicate comms. So this just raises questions on who exactly is Amado. Is he an alien with all this alien tech? How do we even explain the abilities of these cyborgs with only the concept of science at this point? There has to be a reason why these people have abilities beyond Naruto and Sasuke combined, right?
This is #1 bullshit.
Boruto chapter 59 shows Code agreeing with Eida's plan because of his limiters. He feels as though things won't be as easy, as the manga then reveals that Eida is in fact terrible at actual combat and can only perform basic taijutsu. This weakness surprises Code, and he questions what will happen when she is alone with Kawaki if he tries to kill her, which he says is possible since they are both Otsutsuki and her power doesn't work on them. Eida, not worrying at all, informs Code that it doesn't matter, bitch, cause she has another knight to defend her. But we all know, like, let's be real, man, what kind of question is that? What is a guy and a girl gonna do alone in a room? Come on now, I'm just saying. So if we look back at Boruto chapter 56, Amado said several of the cyborgs which were sent for disposal are super strong, even more than Jigen. So this must mean most of them are, but others have busted abilities that are beyond the comprehension of what a ninja can achieve. I mean, to put it into perspective, look at Ino and the Yamanaka clan, who have been performing all their jutsu for over 100 years through training. They helped in the 4th war and still utilize chakra, jutsu and basic technology to maximize their utility. But here comes Eida that has basically made their whole clan look redundant and meaningless in front of her powers. Anyway, I'm passing the video on to Yusuf now, as he will cover the rest of the chapter and our theory on Amado.
Okay, so chapter 59 then showcases Kawaki thinking back to Amado's offer, but as these thoughts are running through his head, Shikadai sees him and tries to greet him. However, Kawaki just screams out, "Shut up!" You know, out of PTSD, and you know, because of the pressure on his shoulders to save his beloved Naruto. Shikadai understands he's anxious, but states no matter what, Konoha will always be Kawaki's home, because Naruto decided so. Kawaki apologizes to Shikadai, however Shikadai encourages him to keep his head high, as those around him just fear what they don't understand. This scene is meant to parallel Naruto at the start of his story. Naruto was loathed, and similarly people feared what they did not understand, and ostracized Naruto for something out of his control and knowledge. In those dark times, Naruto had a ray of light in his life, and that was the bonds he had, which uplifted him from the dark times he was in. One of those bonds was Shikamaru, as to this day, Shikamaru Shikamaru is still by Naruto's side. Now both Naruto's and Shikamaru's son are paralleling this bond by having Shikadai support Kawaki, since Kawaki doesn't even know what to do now that they have a bigger threat ahead. But cutting back to Boruto chapter 59, the scene switches to Amado working and Sumire asking what he meant about implanting another karma into Kawaki. Amado then suspects her being a spy, as Shikamaru may have put her up for it. But let's be honest, he's trying to change the subject because he's super sus right now. But to gain her trust, he starts telling her an analogy of Kawaki and the karma, describing it as a home and a door, with Kawaki being the house and the karma being the door, and the owner being Isshiki. With the karma gone, the door was basically gone but the house still remained. But since Isshiki is gone and there's no one to enter the house which is still there, it doesn't matter if there's still a door on the house since no one's going to enter it anyways. Kawaki, you know, might as well fix the door. I don't even know how we came to houses and doors. If you guys are confused about right now, I don't blame you, fam.
I'm confused. I'm confused right now, G.
But don't worry guys, using my degree in anime bullshit science, I'm gonna be explaining this to you guys. Amado basically is claiming that he's gonna open up the door, or as Sumire puts it, reconstructing Kawaki's karma and making it quite similar to how Code's karma works. It'll basically be a weapon, a powerful tool to use against any opposing threat. Because remember guys, Kawaki is still 80% Otsutsuki and he has all of the Otsutsuki potential within himself. All he needs is that door, that karma to tap into that Otsutsuki power. However, Sumire is left unsatisfied by this answer, and if that's really all there is to it. At this point, Amado just becomes more sus cause you know, he just turns his eyes beyond the scope a natural human being should be able to do and just stares right into Sumire's soul. But we'll cover this more in detail in a bit because now we have another secret cyborg to introduce. Bug, under the instruction from Eida, releases another one of Amado's secret cyborg which was ordered to be destroyed. However, behind the puff of the smoke, there is nothing but an empty chamber. When suddenly, some random 10-year-old boy comes popping out. Like, what? Damn! We learn that this kid who just jumped on Code and rides him like a jockey is in fact Damon. Now, going with the theme of technology, Damon could be inspired by the technology of a computer program running in the background. A program in Pacific like Damon Tools. Shout out to our Russian friends and those of you that use ISO files. You know what I'm saying. The gods from Boruto's cult shows up and discovers that the plot needs them to die to showcase these new cyborgs' abilities. So, you know, they do. They realize that these cyborgs escaped unexpectedly, and under these circumstances, they under the order to dispose of these rogue cyborgs. One of the gods takes aim, ready to fire his cannon at Damon before he mysteriously managed to, you know, shoot himself. But yes, that actually happens. The same can be said for the next few gods, who goes to swipe at Damon with an axe, only to end up landing a lethal blow to his head. And to finish up, Damon beheads the final god. We then discover that he's actually a blood relative of Eida and is her little brother. His secret ability is to reflect what his enemies are thinking back onto them depending on their killing intent. So what that basically means is that when that guy went to cut Damon's head off with a sword to kill him, because he had pictured this action happening in his head and his killing intent is at max, Damon is able to reflect that attack on the users instead. This gives us the indication that if you want to have any chance of taking this guy down, you gotta clear your mind first. You can't be thinking about killing him even if you want to, similar to how you always had to avoid looking into the eyes of an Uchiha. Now you can't think of Damon or else you automatically lose. You have to empty your mind, be like water. Anyway guys, luckily our folks over in the Uzumaki house are the perfect counter as they carry no killing intent. After all, they're shonen MCs, they want to save even the most evil villains, or do they? But anyways, this is because the concept of ninshu is the opposite of what Damon represents. Chakra and jutsus were meant to spread peace originally, not war. Moving on, however, we come back to Sumire, who confronts Amado about his true intentions, questioning whether or not he's truly plotting something. He interrupts Sumire saying she's either really smart or really stupid. Which is it? It is then revealed that Amado truly is the bad guy when he tells Sumire had she just stayed quiet, she could have extracted more intel. Subsequently, he goes on to call her stupid. Poor Sumire. But with that, the chapter ends, and from this witty chapter that passes by, we know that Amado has been acting more more and more sussy each time. So with that, let's use a balls deep prediction jutsu and analyze the possibility of Amado being the actual villain. Now, one hypothesis is that Amado could actually be an Otsutsuki or have a karma of his own. First off, the theory surrounding Eida being Amado's late daughter is all but debunked with this latest chapter when Eida revealed her actual little brother. Amado never mentioned any existence of a son, which cancels out Eida being his daughter. Now, you may be asking yourself, but why is this so important? Well, we know that Eida's love ability works on all except blood relatives and the Otsutsukis. Amado is not affected by this, otherwise how did he create her in the first place, and why didn't she just use his ability on him after she was upset? But again, as he's not her father, the only other answer we have right now is that he has an Otsutsuki connection or him purposely programming her abilities not to work on himself. But the latter wasn't really mentioned by Eida. Now, Amado being an Otsutsuki doesn't necessarily mean he had to have a karma, because if he did, you would have been asking the question that why didn't it resonate with Jigen's karma or even Kawaki's or Boruto's? So him being an Otsutsuki might be quite similar to how Kawaki is an Otsutsuki right now. Him having Otsutsuki DNA but no door. That analogy though. There are also some other evidence out there which can point towards Amado having Otsutsuki connection. First off, if you take a look at episode 188 of the anime, during Kawaki's backstory with Garo, we see Amado and Kashin Koji watching over as Kawaki awakens the third stage of his karma. Despite being with his co-conspirator in betraying Jigen and supposedly saving Kawaki, he was extremely happy to see Kawaki reach a complete stage and become a perfect vessel. Furthermore, we know Amado is incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to the Otsutsuki, knowing how the pairing system works, how the karma works, how to even kill an Otsutsuki. Even in chapter 39, he understood the concept of resonance between the two karma, something which Isshiki was surprised to witness. Even if he was working closely with Isshiki, I find it hard to believe that Jigen would reveal the Otsutsuki's true weakness. After all, Isshiki ordered him to dispose of Eida and Damon as well as put limiters on Code to suppress his power, as Isshiki was afraid that Amado would try to pull a fast one on him and try to kill him. If he was already that skeptical of betrayal, why would he reveal all of his weaknesses? Logically, it doesn't make sense, which means for Amado to have such vast array of intel on how the Otsutsuki work, he must have had another source of information. And if he himself is one or the vessel of one, it explains how he was such a big brain on the topic. Even more though, as Sumire points out in this chapter, Amado showed ingenuine amount of compassion once Kawaki arrived back from the fight with Isshiki, making sure he was alright back in chapter 55. Why would he care so much about Kawaki's safety as well as him becoming the perfect vessel? The answer to that could be because Amado wants to hijack the Otsutsukification and control all outcomes of the situation he was involved in. As we know, to completely Otsutsukify a vessel, it takes a lot of time. But with Isshiki doing 80% of the work, Amado only has to finish filling in the rest with his own Otsutsuki data. As Amado described himself, Otsutsukis are parasites that adapt all data and life forms they come across with, being able to take on attributes, powers and DNA of anything they consume. So compatibility wouldn't really be an issue. It was Amado's plan all along to have Isshiki do most of the dirty work. This is also why he purposely made Kashin Koji weaker than Jigen, unlike his other cyborgs, because nothing was really stopping Amado giving Kashin Koji an iOS update before fighting Isshiki to put him in a similar level to Damon or Eida or even Code, along with the other cyborgs Jigen was afraid of. Amado made it so that Koji had enough in him to resurrect Isshiki in his weaker form, but nothing more. That way Isshiki was drawn out, giving him only a few days to live as well as removing his own karma of Kawaki, making it so he would have to come back to get Kawaki for himself. However, he'd had to face off against Naruto and Sasuke to do this, which is the next part of Amado's plan, as this would also either kill Naruto and Sasuke or at least nerf them, like he ended up doing so, therefore leaving no one in his way of succeeding to his actual plans. With Isshiki dead, Naruto and Sasuke nerfed, Amado has a perfect vessel waiting there for him, and nobody left to threaten him, giving him a free run at Kawaki. As we know from chapter 35, there is still another Otsutsuki pair we don't know about. There'd be no reason not to include them if nothing was planned regarding their existence, and when you put the pieces together, you can see that the groundwork is in place to reveal Amado as one of the secret Otsutsukis, or at least connected to them. He being the big bad villain also complements the theme of Boruto. As we know in the time skip, Kawaki claims that the shinobi way is over. If Amado is truly the traitor we expect him to be, it would go against Naruto's ninja way completely, as Naruto is the one responsible for allowing Amado to reside in the village as a civilian in the first place. Thematically, it would make sense if Amado was the final antagonist, as it goes back to Naruto's message of ending the cycle of hatred and giving the people the benefit of doubt. Naruto trusted Amado, welcomed him into his village, so having this message be questioned will be a key component opponent to this series. Let us know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And don't forget to smash that like button and buy our merch. With that guys, we'll catch you lot next time.